Good day, spiritual artists. This is Chris Miller, and you are joining me in my Doodle Book Club. And what that is that's where I'm reading a chapter from my book while you doodle or journal in your own. It's a great way to cement the ideas and to truly listen, but also to do a little bit of that creative exercise every day. So we are on chapter 3 today, Moments of Awe. Quote, once I opened my mind to the concept of a greater power, I never struggled with it. Everywhere I went, I felt and saw the existence of a creative intelligence in this universe, of a loving power larger than myself in nature, in people, everywhere. Anthony Kiedis, Chapter 3, Moments of Awe. Real estate agents will tell you that most people decide on a specific home for one reason, one feature that grabs them and closes the deal. With that in mind, there was one key reason that I purchased my current home. When touring the house, I noticed a large kitchen window with a table that faced out into the yard, directly upon a freestanding bird feeder. Beyond that feeder, the yard backed up onto the tree-lined creek of which the neighborhood was named, Spring Creek. I took a moment to sit at the table and was surrounded by a variety of colorful native birds that approached the feeder. I spied cardinals, downy woodpeckers, blue jays, chickadees, doves, and titmice, and of course, squirrels, all feasting at the feeder. This memory is still frozen in my mind. I've since named this experience a moment of awe, an opportunity that halted my mind. An opportunity that halted my mind and forced me into presence while marveling at nature. I immediately knew that I wanted to live in this home. At that moment, I recognized the reason for my decision. The window facing the bird feeder became the one feature on which I purchased an entire house. Watching those birds, I immediately felt a sense of presence and place, a connection to all that is. Seeking moments of awe and recognizing them in our day is a necessary skill practiced by the spiritual artist. Since purchasing our home, many things have changed in the house and the yard. Although we've added a beautiful koi pond, deck, and garden, one thing remains the same. The bird feeder still maintains its vigil directly across from the kitchen window. Most mornings, I take a cup of coffee, sit before the window, and meditate upon the birds approaching the feeder. I relive this moment of awe almost daily, and I use this opportunity to recognize the presence of one power in my life. I've learned to practice using moments of awe to reconnect with the greater power. Nature is perhaps the greatest portal to this form of meditation. We have communed with nature as source for spiritual respite and relaxation for as long as we have walked on this earth. It's easy to see creative intelligence in the world around us with a simple walk through nature. Who could deny the awe produced by the incredible diversity of life on this planet? The birds gathering at my feet are only the beginning. I see hundreds of bees swarming around clumps of rudbeckia, displaying pure, vivid colors of amber and gold. I see butterflies dancing along the cardinal vine in flocks. I notice the skip of a hummingbird at my feeder as it uses its long beak to draw nectar. I recognize the variety of trees surrounding me and the sparkle of the sun dancing on those chartreuse-colored leaves. We all have access to these moments of awe. Think back upon your life, and I'm sure you can recall some of those moments from your memory. Many, many years ago, on a crisp fall evening, I was driving home from a dinner at my parents' house, and I found myself taking a highway surrounded by fields of nodding sunflowers. The large flower heads lined both sides of the road and caught the soft rays of the sunset. The wind blew gently, and an entire blanket of flowers moved in perfect rhythm as I drove past. At the same time, my radio played a favorite song, and I marveled at the beauty before me. All of these details united simultaneously, and I felt a connection to the world around me. The splendor silenced me. I have since realized that these moments of awe are when I recognize creative intelligence. They bring me peace and a sense of connection. There's a certain feeling of all is good and right with the world, and most importantly, my place within it. As a spiritual artist, I've learned to seek out these moments. They are always occurring both indoors and out. How do you practice experiencing them? you consciously look. Throughout the day, choose to notice the wondrous world around you. Learn to see the beauty in the cashier's smile, the joy of a child eating an ice cream cone, and the warmth of a dog as it nuzzles against your hand. This skill is like any muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. You'll begin noticing creative intelligence in the strangest of things. Close your eyes and feel the air upon your face, the warmth of the chair below you, and the soft clicking of a clock beside you. Be present to creative intelligence. Now, I'm sure that many might say, that's easy for you, Chris, but I don't have a kitchen window that looks out onto a tree-lined street. I don't even own a home, and I appreciate your situation. While it's easier to notice a greater power in nature, with practice, you'll begin seeing the presence in less obvious choices. Shortly after I began my practice of seeking moments of awe, I found myself with a painful, debilitating stomach virus. Crouched on the bathroom floor in front of the toilet, my stomach in painful distress with no signs of the symptoms fading, I began to notice a stray piece of light flowing past the blinds as it landed next to the commode in the corner of my vision. I turned my attention upon it. The light flickered along the wall and created constantly evolving patterns. While my stomach continued to cramp, I focused my attention on the dancing points of light. I breathed into that light. I took inventory of its beauty while I was experiencing cramps and pain. I relaxed into the moment. While my pain only slightly lessened, it did indeed weaken, and I felt a sense of calm. I was surprised to realize that a moment of awe in one of the most unlikely places, a wall behind a commode while I was getting sick. I realized that I wasn't alone. I recognized creative intelligence and reaffirmed my connection right there. As a spiritual artist, you should practice recognizing these moments of awe. Being present for these opportunities keeps an open portal to a greater power. This practice is something you should do every day, but most importantly, right before you stand before the easel. I have learned the importance of taking some time to meditate before picking up my brush. Slow down, focus your awareness on your breath, and look for the small moments of awe that surround you. The obvious choice is nature, but you don't have to be outdoors or surrounded by nature to connect. Notice the beautiful pattern of spattered paint on your workbench, or seek out the light and shadows bouncing along the wall. As an artist, I found that moments of awe are easier to locate in visual beauty, but now I've come to recognize them in feeling. Try closing your eyes and feel the cool floor beneath your toes, or focus on the tickle of a light breeze on your skin. Be present to the sights and sensations that surround you. Moments of awe abound, and as spiritual artists, we consciously slow down and seek them. What this does when I read this chapter is it reminds me of what I call a spiritual practice. And a spiritual practice is a routine that you insert into your day to keep you grounded and to keep you present. A great spiritual practice for me is I always sit down first thing in the morning when I'm having my coffee and I read something motivational from a book. Now, it doesn't have to be my book, obviously, because I read from all sorts of other famous writers, new thought leaders. Um, and that grounds me. But I also, when I'm done reading, I sit there and I take the time to notice the moments of awe around me. I notice the moments of awe around me. And I told you yesterday I had a surgery appointment. I had a colonoscopy, fun. But I want to tell you what I did a little different. This time, when I went into the waiting room and they dress you up and they put you in such a vulnerable place, you're asked to remove your clothes and you have to wear a gown and you're put on a bench and you're sat out in a room with a lot of people. There's just a mere curtain there. And it's very easy to get swept away into nervousness and anxiety. But what I did is I just sat there and laid there actually, and I noticed the things of beauty in the room. I listened to the clock ticking on the wall. I heard the footsteps of the woman wearing those shoes clip-clopping down past me. I noticed the jingle of her jewelry against the tray as she gave me instructions on how to get through the surgery. I felt the cool air blasting through the air conditioner. All those things grounded me in the presence of now. So I encourage you to make a practice throughout the day of looking for those moments of awe. And especially if you're waiting somewhere, if you're in a waiting room or you're in a stressful situation, sit down and just say, okay, I know this is stressful. I accept it. And I'm just going to sit here and try to look and pull out and build that muscle because it is like building a muscle. Just like I said in the book, you are exercising a muscle and it will grow and it will get bigger and bigger until you will find yourself looking for moments of awe all day long. Moments of awe all day long. Some people use this old fashioned term. It's called what I call praying without ceasing. It's constantly connecting yourself to spirit, constantly connecting yourself to the good around you. And I want to share that with you because I love that story when I realized that even when I had a sick stomach and I was there, oh, and it was horrible. Let me tell you, if you ever had food poisoning, not fun, but just reach for it as much as you can. Open the crack of possibility and look for a moment of awe. And while it won't take away all the pain or the disease or the uncomfort, it will give you some peace. So today, I invite you to look and stop and write down in your journal a moment of awe. In fact, when this ends, write that down in your journal, look around for you and list 10 moments of awe in your journal. Talk to you later, and I will see you tomorrow on the Spiritual Artist Podcast.
Thanks again for listening to the Spiritual Artist Podcast. Whether you're watching this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or iHeartRadio, make sure you choose the subscribe button so that you will receive updates when new segments are released. Most importantly, be still, listen, and know that you are a spiritual artist.